If you want to pick up a new champion and start seeing results immediately, then this video is for you. Today, we'll be covering 10 of the easiest champions that are still extremely strong in meta. Although we used our challenger players' input to help choose each champion, we combined that with the use of analytics as well. A low skill floor is important if you want to pick up a champ and see results right away, and there's an interesting calculation we can use to help determine that. By taking the one-trick win rate of a champion and comparing that to the average win rate of a champion, the lower the spread between those two win rates, the lower the skill floor of the champion. For example, if the one-trick win rate for Nasus is 54% and his average win rate is 51%, 54 minus 51 is equal to 3, which is a pretty small number, indicating that Nasus is a pretty easy champ. If a one-trick player is barely winning more than an average player on the same champ, it's a good indication the champ is pretty easy to pick up. On the other hand, someone like Lee Sin has a one-trick win rate of 58% and an average win rate of 49%, so a 9% difference is massive there, which helps to back up our claim that Lee is not an easy champ to see results with right away, as it takes time to master him. So, now that you know the intricate process behind choosing the champions for the video, let's get started. But before we get into it, be sure to check out SkillCapped if you want to truly get better at League of Legends. We're the only service that offers a money-back guarantee if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using our service. We do this because our service really does work, and if it doesn't work for you, you shouldn't pay. Learn more at the end of this video or click the link in the description below. Kicking things off with our first top lane pick, it's going to be Nasus. Nasus is a top laner who checks all of our boxes when we're looking for an easy champ to climb with. As mentioned during the intro, Nasus' one-trick win rate minus his overall win rate is only 3%, indicating that there isn't a big difference between an average Nasus and a one-trick Nasus. What we really like about Nasus is that you go into every single game with a very similar game plan in mind. Stacking Q is so vital for Nasus, so by farming efficiently throughout the early game, you can know that you'll be extremely effective the longer games last. A simple and actionable game plan like this is important for an easy champion because it limits the number of variables in each game. If all you do is focus on stacks with Q, hit your divine spike, and then begin to fight your opponent, you're going to be more consistent than most top laners. Consistency is key when it comes to climbing, and Nasus really helps to bring that. Standard build for Nasus is a Divine Sundra rush into Frozen Heart second and a situational tank item third. Take Fleet as the keystone rune, along with Second Wind so that your sustain is amplified, allowing you to stack Q more freely. Our second top lane selection is a champion who's become extremely strong in recent patches, being Malphite. Mal is an interesting one analytically because his one-trick win rate minus his average win rate is 5%. This is higher than Nasus, but still relatively low when compared to the majority of top lane champs. What's so great about Malphite is that he hard counters so many champs without requiring any skill at all. By point-clicking Malphite E, you reduce the enemy's attack speed, so if a melee champ tries to dive on you, there's literally no way for them to avoid losing power. On top of this, Malphite's abilities scale off of armor, so he doesn't just get tanky when completing items, his spells become stronger too. As a tank with hard engage, you never have to sweat if the early laning does not go in your favor. And if you have yet to learn all your matchups and end up getting stomped in lane, the power of Malphite ultimate in a teamfight can completely erase any early game's woes and get you right back in the game. Build for Mal is an Iceborne Gauntlet rush into Sunfire Aegis second and Thornmail third. In ranged matchups, take Comet as the keystone rune and go for a Q max. In melee lanes, look to run Grasp and max W out first instead of Q. Moving on to our jungle selections, first up is the Monkey King. Wukong is in a really good spot right now for all elo brackets, and he's not the most difficult champion to get a grasp of. One-trick win rate minus the average win rate of Wukong players is 5%, so not all that high, indicating he's relatively easy to learn. Wukong can do a little bit of everything, as his gank power is solid, skirmishing is great, and teamfight potential through flank plays is some of the best for any champ. All of Wukong's damage is point and click, so there are fewer ways for you to mess up compared to many other champs. With recent Black Cleaver buffs and now that demonic junglers have fallen out of meta, Wukong has become one of the best yet easiest junglers to climb with. The complete build consists of Divine Sundra with Black Cleaver and Death's Dance or Maw third. For runes, grab Conqueror with Triumph, Alacrity, and Last Stand. Magical Footwear and Cosmic Insight are the optimal secondaries. Another jungler who's a really good abuser of Black Cleaver and one of the easier champs to see immediate results with is Vi. One-trick win rate minus the average win rate of Vi is only 3%, so even lower than that of Wukong. With Vi running the new core build of Black Cleaver into Radiant Virtue, it's all about finding constant picks with ultimate. All the ability haste puts Vi ultimate on a pretty short cooldown, and since Vi's R is a point-and-click spell, you can't really mess up on isolating a priority target and taking them out. Definitely try the Black Cleaver rush if you haven't already, as it's winning 3% more than Divine Sundra. With ADCs being in such a great spot right now, Vi diving in with R and applying Armor Shred to to her target makes it that much easier for her ADC to follow up and finish them off. Landing Q with Vi will take a little time to get used to, but you can still be very useful regardless due to the point-and-click lockdown from R. Complete build is a Black Cleaver Rush into Radiant Virtue 2nd and Chempunk Chainsword 3rd. Run Conqueror for the Keystone Rune and roll with Inspiration for secondaries, grabbing Free Boots and Cosmic Insight. The Queen of Mid Lane, and an absolute no-brainer to play if your main goal is to climb, is Annie. Analytically, Annie checks out nicely as her one-trick win rate minus her average win rate is at a pretty low 4% mark. There's really no champion that's a better fit for this list than Annie, as she's not only disgustingly easy, but she's actually insanely strong in meta. Even pro players have been playing Annie in solo queue, which is something we've very rarely seen in the past. Farming is super easy due to the refund on Q. Burst power is amazing and is basically all point and click, as Annie W and R might as well not even be considered skill shots due to how unmissable they are. You're also never really out of the game if you fall behind on Annie, because the threat of a flash Tibbers will always be there and can single-handedly take out a priority target. Two viable build paths you can run on Annie right now, with Ludens and Rod of Ages being the mythic options. Rod works really well if you're playing into a comp that is a bit tankier and you won't be able to one-shot, while Ludens is great into a heavy squishy comp. When going Ludens, look to take Electrocute as the keystone to further one-shot power, but if you are going Rod of Ages, First Strike works amazing, as the gold you accumulate from First Strike helps you hit Rod faster so you can get it stacking. Fresh off some massive buffs and another incredibly strong yet easy to pick up mid lane champ is Veigar. Veigar's one-trick win rate minus his average win rate is 5%, so right around that level of most champs in this video. Our challenger mid laner Shori just recently recorded a brand new full game commentary on buffed Veigar that you can check out on our website. We really like Veigar for similar reasons to Nasus, as you have an easy to follow game plan regardless of matchup for every game. The more Q stacks you can acquire, the stronger you'll become and the harder you'll carry games. Simply focusing on farming consistently and coming online as hard as possible at 2 items is a recipe for success on Veigar. No flashy solo kills in lane, no 50-50 outplays to get yourself ahead, just farm well and you're going to be more impactful than the enemy mid more often than not. Optimal core build for Veigar is a Rod of Ages rush into Archangel's 2nd and Rabadon's 3rd. Run First Strike for the Keystone Rune and grab Sorcery for secondaries with Mana Flow and Transcendence. The ADC meta has been shifting quite heavily in recent patches, and one champ who's been on the rise is Sivir. Sivir is the perfect ADC for this video, as she's so easy to be effective with in very minimal games. One trick win rate minus the average win rate of Sivir is only 2%, the lowest for any champ in the video. Our challenger ADC 6-Act has a brand new Sivir commentary for you guys that you can check out on our website if you're looking to delve more into the pick. Just by stalling out games with Sivir's incredible wave clear along with using ultimate in teamfights can net you more impact than most other ADCs. Something a lot of high elo Sivir players are doing right now is running Ghost as their secondary summoner instead of heal. This will help you out drastically in teamfights to reposition and stay very mobile, which is great if you are newer to ADC or aren't the most mechanically proficient. The core build for Sivir is a Kraken Slayer rush into Quick Blade 2nd and Phantom Dancer 3rd. Run with Lethal Tempo as the keystone and grab Inspiration for secondaries with Free Boots and Biscuits. Jinx is in such a powerful spot due to recent buffs, so even though she may not be the most mechanically easy ADC, her relative power level makes her one of the easiest ADCs to climb with. One trick win rate minus the average win rate of Jinx is only 3%, so surprisingly low, indicating you can see good results pretty fast with Jinx. The skirmishing power of Jinx is what really sets her apart from most ADCs. Jinx passive is the absolute best cleanup tool in the game and allows you to secure so many extra kills that other ADCs would have no chance in getting. Thresh being the most played support right now is also incredible for Jinx, as that duo was winning over 54% of the time in solo queue. The build to run on Jinx is a Kraken Slayer rush into Infinity Edge 2nd and Rapid Fire Cannon 3rd. Roll with Lethal Tempo as the keystone and pick up Sorcery for secondaries with Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm. The one support champ you can pick up right away and be guaranteed to have immediate impact is Heimerdinger. All you gotta do is place down turrets, shove the enemy bot lane under tower, and you are able to apply so much pressure without needing any skill at all. One trick win rate minus the average win rate of Heimerdinger is 4%. There's definitely room to improve on Heimer, as hitting E and W are not the easiest skill shots, but your overall impact by using turrets at a very elementary level is amazing. On top of your early laning power, Heimer just has so much damage and a ton of consistent damage to be exact. This makes taking Dragon and Baron extremely easy, so if your macro play is on point but your mechanics are lacking, you can still see crazy good results on Heimer. The build you want to run revolves around a Rylai's rush into Liandry's 2nd and Zanya's 3rd. Comet is the best keystone Keystone Rune, along with inspiration for secondaries being free boots and biscuits. The final champion to round out the top 10 is going to be the newly reworked Yuumi. If you thought the previous version of Yuumi was easy, you're in for a huge awakening when you see what the reworked version has to offer. Analytically, Yuumi is actually one of the quote-unquote more difficult champions in the video, with her one-trick win rate minus her average win rate being 6%. This is where we weighted our challenger players' opinions more heavily than stats, because the new Yuumi's skill floor is definitely quite low. The new best friend mechanic added to Yuumi's passive is a big reason to why she's way easier. With the previous version of Yuumi, you'd really have to weigh out your options and make split-second decisions as to which champion would be best to attach to for each situation. Since reworked Yuumi provides her best friend with a ton of bonus stats, it's almost always the champ you want to be attached to, which leaves you with less complicated decisions. Stay on your ADC, buff them, and that's pretty much all there is to it in most cases with reworked Yuumi. Build for Yuumi is a Moonstone or Shirelia's Rush into Ardent Censer 2nd and Staff of Flowing Water 3rd. As for runes, grab Airy for the Keystone and dip into Precision for secondaries, running Presence of Mind and Cut Down. Alright guys, before we wrap this up, let's tell you a little more about SkillCapped. So, we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee, and think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. Your local gym would go bust if they offered that, right? Not us. We've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium league guides on the internet. We add over 20 videos a week, with over 1,600 guides curated into over 100 courses no one can compare. We've also sent challenger players into ELO Hell 714 times and counting, where they commentate how to carry live. They also respond to all questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $6.99 a month if you are serious about improving. So there you have it guys, the 10 easiest champions who are still incredibly strong to climb with for Season 13. Thank you all so much for watching, good luck on the Rift, and we will catch you in the next one.